Let's begin the broadcast with breaking updates coming in. The latest update in the Chhattisgarh PDS scam, the Enforcement Directorate has filed an affidavit with the Supreme Court in which some shocking revelations have come to the fore. Two senior bureaucrats who were accused in the Chhattisgarh PDS scam were in touch with the High Court judge who granted bail to Shukla in October 2019. Let's go across to senior news editor Bhavtosh Singh joining us on the broadcast with the details. Bhavtosh, these are some sensational claims. The Enforcement Directorate telling the court that two of these bureaucrats were in touch with the High Court judge who had granted bail to Shukla. What are the details?
Well, Pratibha, as far as this affidavit is concerned, this affidavit was filed on 1st of August by the Enforcement Directorate, and this affidavit was filed in the Supreme Court in the LSP. Directorate has said is very explosive and shocking. They had said the then Advocate General of the Chhattisgarh government had tried to influence and scuttle the trial in the PDS scam. What he had said is that an attempt was made to, in fact, influence the entire trial, and that he was directly in touch with some judges, and this was done through, in fact, indirectly influence this entire trial. Now, ED had tried to, in fact, produce some evidence in this to support their claim. They had some WhatsApp chats to in fact, corroborate their allegations. All these chats are, in fact, part of the evidence. Now, what they had said is that both the accused in this case, Anil Tuteja as well as Shukla, who are out on bail, managed to get only because of the fact that then Advocate General was in direct touch with one of the judges. Now, this is the claim of the Enforcement Directorate. So far, we have only the claim of the Enforcement Directorate, but ED has said that they had done their due diligence and their own investigation to support what they had said. But remember, the Enforcement Directorate has been probing the PDS scam which happened in the Bhupesh Baghel's government tenure, and ED claims that this is worth at least 10,000 crore rupees. They claim that Anil Tuteja was one of the close confidant of Bhupesh Baghel. He was one of the persons who was one of the mastermind as far as the PDS scam is concerned. He and Mr. Shukla were accused in this case. When they were taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate, they in fact managed to get, because then judicial officers of Bhupesh Baghel government were they in fact managed to get in touch with the trial court judges, and ED has now managed to extract WhatsApp chats, and they have now produced these WhatsApp chats in the court, in the Supreme Court. One has to wait and see what happens next in the court. But these explosive claims have been made by the Enforcement Directorate, which has now submitted this affidavit in the Supreme Court.
Okay, so the affidavit does not really name the judge in question, but it has several WhatsApp chats that have also been mentioned in the affidavit. Bhavtosh, request you to stay on with us. Let's go across to Ankit for the details in the affidavit mentioned by the ED.
I'm going to read the relevant page, Pratibha. This is the affidavit. It says, I say that the accused through the then Advocate General of the state were in touch with the Honorable Judge of the Honorable Chhattisgarh High Court who had granted anticipatory bail to accused Alok Shukla on this date in the scheduled offence. I say that one of the accused, Mr. Anil Kumar Tuteja, IAS, was in touch with the Honorable Judge through Satish Chandra Verma, the then Advocate General for the state of Chhattisgarh, as is evident from various WhatsApp messages dated between so-and-so dates. The WhatsApp messages exchange has revealed that the biodata of the daughter and the son-in-law of the judge were sent to Mr. Anil Kumar Tuteja for favorable action by the then Advocate General of the state of Chhattisgarh, who has been liaisoning between the judge and both the prime accused Anil Tuteja and Alok Shukla. True typed copy of relevant excerpts of the WhatsApp chats are annexed herewith. So that's what it says. So it has submitted this and also the annexures.
Okay, all right. Going back to Bhavtosh for that, Bhavtosh, the ED has also claimed that the two bureaucrats in the then Baghel-led Congress government were also tampering with the evidence to dilute the case against them.
Yes, Pratibha, in fact, this is a very serious charge that ED has leveled. Remember, both Tuteja as well as Shukla were under scanner of the Enforcement Directorate in several cases. In fact, Mr. Tuteja was also proved by the Enforcement Directorate in the alleged liquor scam. Tuteja was recently arrested by the UPSTF in the liquor scam, in the alleged tampering of the hologram as far as the case is concerned. Now, liquor scam is also being proved by the Enforcement Directorate. The probe in that case was stopped by the Supreme Court claiming that the predicate offence itself is not substantial. Then UPSTF also filed a case, and he was recently arrested by the UPSTF. He is said to be very close to Bhupesh Baghel, but as far as the PDS scam is concerned, now this is a very serious charge that has been leveled by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, Enforcement Directorate for the first time is claiming that the Advocate General was directly in touch with the trial court judge, and he in fact managed to influence the entire trial, and was influencing the trial to an extent that the two bureaucrats who was at that point of time under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate managed to get bail, and the judge himself was influenced to an extent that he managed to give them bail. Now, this is the claim of the Enforcement Directorate. One has to wait and also one has to wait and see whether Bhupesh Baghel reacts to this and Congress reacts to this. But ED has submitted a statement in the Supreme Court, and they have said it's a sworn affidavit they have submitted, and moreover, they have now said that they will they want that CBI should in fact investigate this case, and they have said an independent investigation should be carried out after this allegations have been leveled by them.
Okay, so the affidavit does not name the judge, but Bhavtosh, it also goes on to say in the affidavit that from the state's report on this scam, some of the paragraphs are also removed at the behest of Tuteja as well as Shukla, and this was to protect the interest of the prime accused in the case. So destruction of evidence and also being in touch with the judge to get a favorable outcome.
Yes, that is one of the allegations that have been leveled by the Enforcement Directorate. As far as the PDS scam is concerned, ED had taken cognizance of an FIR that was filed by the Chhattisgarh government, Chhattisgarh police, and after that they started investigating this case. Tuteja and other bureaucrats were under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate. Once they started investigating this case, ED filed earlier also ED had filed an affidavit, but this is for the first time that ED's affidavit is now has now become public. But what is very serious in this case is the fact that ED has for the first time said on record that the trial in this case was being influenced after then Advocate General tried to influence the entire trial. Now ED is now claiming that the CBI, that an independent probe should be carried out by the CBI, that they believe that the trial in this case is being affected primarily because the Advocate General was in direct touch with the judge. They have not named the judge, but sources have said that the entire trial is being vitiated primarily because of the fact that Advocate General was in direct touch with the judges of the trial court as well as the higher judiciary.
Okay, all right, Bhavtosh, thank you for joining us with those details. So the Enforcement Directorate has told the Supreme Court that Anil Kumar Tuteja as well as Alok Shukla, the two senior bureaucrats who are accused in Chhattisgarh's PDS scam, were in touch with the High Court judge, remember, who had granted bail to Shukla. So this was in October 2019. The then Advocate General had been liaising between the two and the judge, is what the Enforcement Directorate has said. The affidavit does not name the judge in question, but several details of WhatsApp chats have been mentioned in the affidavit. And it goes on to say there was an attempt to destroy evidence in the case. The ED is saying that the two bureaucrats were tampering with evidence. Abha Singh joining us on the broadcast. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Abha Singh. This is a big charge being leveled by the Enforcement Directorate, saying that the corrupt babus in the PDS scam were in touch with a judge to get a favorable outcome.
I am not surprised, because why would judges also not be corrupt? Because they come from the same society. When there is corruption from top to bottom, then I am not surprised if bureaucrats are trying to find ways to collaborate with judiciary. Now that this matter has come highlighted by ED, I feel Supreme Court should take cognizance of this, order inquiry, because we all know that nobody can speak about the judges if there is any corruption. So it is the courts only that need to take cognizance. And also, ED should come with facts, because if it is saying politically motivated, then also it is not good. But if ED is saying that the IAS officers or the bureaucrats in connivance with judiciary are conducting a big fraud and corruption, they are getting protected by the courts, then that is also a very serious allegation. ED needs to come with facts, because in so many cases we have seen that ED's allegations fall flat at the time of trial or when the hearing goes on in courts.
Okay, but in the affidavit, the Enforcement Directorate has made a lot of details, including tampering of evidence, and the agency claims that several paragraphs from the state's report on the scam had been removed at the behest of the main accused in the case.
So then this matter should be transferred to CBI, and the court will order that the case should be transferred to CBI, because I am sure that the state, Chhattisgarh, would never agree, and that is what they do because they feel that the local police officers work under their pressure and would do as the local government wants, and CBI, being a central agency, will not be cowed down by any pressure. So the courts now need to, the High Court of Chhattisgarh needs to look into it, order that this case is given to the CBI so that the truth and the facts can come out.
Okay, all right. Sabha Singh, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. We continue